I want to ask all of you, how many of you have had the experience when you're conducting marketing activities or sales activities for your business of feeling as if things are not being productive, as if you're spinning your wheels, wasting time? Wow, one person in the whole, come on now. Come on now, good. I would venture to say 100% of the people in the room, and those who didn't raise their hand are being shy. How many of you have, in the course of calling on people in your sales and marketing techniques, felt a little bit uncomfortable? Felt as if, I might be barking up the wrong tree, I might not be welcome here. Wow, no hands. I have. And how many of you have, when you're using technology, when you're going through the activities of your day, trying to master a new application that you're now using, how many of you have felt uncomfortable in the work that you're doing? That sense of I'm banging my head against the wall, I'm pulling my hair out. Me too. So here's what I'm going to spend a few minutes talking to you about. I'm going to spend some time talking to you about how to separate true prospects from suspects so you can focus on the people who are most likely to do business with you. But really what this is about, and what it is I do for a living, is help businesses figure out how to market, how to sell, how to gain and retain clients more productively and more comfortably. Because if we're working productively and we're working comfortably, our business is probably thriving and we probably are enjoying the work that we're doing. And that ultimately is the goal for just about any business. All right, so after what happened on, what night was it, Monday night in San Francisco, I am extremely, extremely reluctant to dive into a little baseball talk, but it just so happens that it's a baseball player who said one of the most intelligent marketing things that I have ever heard. So with all due respect to the Cardinal fans in the room who want to forget about baseball for the fall, I'm going to share with you the wisdom of Yogi. Yogi Berra once said, if people don't want to come to the ballpark, how are you going to stop them? Think about that for a second. If people don't want to come to the ballpark, how are you going to stop them? The reason that is so intelligent, I don't think he ever worked as a marketing professional, but the reason that Yogi is so right on the mark is he's getting at an idea that all of you who run businesses or market businesses must understand. And that idea is this: we do not create desire in the marketplace. We do not create desire in the marketplace, we tap it. No matter how well the Cardinals market their business, no matter how many promotions, how many bobblehead dolls they give away, how brilliant their commercials may be, they will not create the desire in my wife to go to a ball game. She's not interested. And if you remember that and think about that strategically as you think about how to market your business, you will be much better off. Because what happens with so many businesses, especially with outbound marketing, with email marketing, with social media, with things like that, the greatest mistake they make is sending everything to everybody every time as if everybody wants to hear everything about every product and service that you sell. Great mistake. Incidentally, page 15 of your workbook has a worksheet for this presentation. And I believe there's a typo in it. There are two lines at the beginning: the greatest mistake everybody makes, and then it's repeated. The second line is for the second greatest mistake. I'll get to that in a moment. You do not want to be the unwanted pest. And so much marketing puts you in the position of being the unwanted pest. When the baseball team promotes baseball over and over and over again to my wife, she is the unwanted pest. I'll give you an example. I love to fish. I love to hike. I love to camp. And online is a business that sells fishing equipment, sells fishing equipment, sells camping equipment. I signed up for their email newsletter. And it really started happening a week or two or three or four ago. I began to get email after email about hunting clothes, hunting equipment, hunting this, hunting that. It's hunting season. So on top of the email newsletter that this outdoor store sends to me with great tips about this and that and products that interest me, they're now selling me that we're having the big sale on hunting. Boom, boom, pounding me with hunting stuff. And in the end, they're just being an unwanted pest. And even though I opted in for their email list, even though I said, sure, I want to have a relationship with you, they have abused that relationship because they have tried over and over and over again to create desire that I don't have, instead of tapping the desire of those people who do want to buy hunting equipment. It's a great mistake. The second mistake that businesses make is that they say, well, I don't want to be a pest. I don't want to bug people. So what I'm going to do is not send much stuff. I'm going to pull back the reins. I'll send the newsletter that has a little bit of everything for everybody, but when it's time for the big sale on hunting equipment, I won't send that because some people don't like hunting and I don't want to offend them. That's an enormous mistake as well, because we all understand the idea. Marketing 101. Follow-up sells. The more touches, the greater the chance that you will move people along and convert a sale. So what is it that we want to do? You don't want to just pull back the reins and stop marketing for fear that you're going to offend people. That's just inertia and it's going to get you nowhere. So how do you strike that balance between not making the great mistake of sending everything to everybody every time versus pulling back the reins and doing nothing and having inertia and not going anywhere? The way that you do that is by separating prospects from suspects. And here's the beauty of the world in which we live with tools, 21st century marketing, email marketing systems that allow you to keep track of who opens an email or who clicks a link. Social media, where you can pay attention to who is engaging with your messages about hunting versus fishing versus camping. The beauty is you have tools at your disposal that allow you to very productively and very comfortably separate prospects from suspects. So what is it that this outdoor shop could have done? The outdoor shop could have begun to pay attention to the fact that I click through on all the articles or the product promotions for fishing and for camping in their email newsletter, while John Doe is clicking through on all of the promotions for hunting. John Doe likes hunting. Tom Ruwitch likes fishing. When it's time to send a promotion with a coupon and a hard pitch about fishing, send it to me. I'll welcome it. You're tapping into my desire. You're having a conversation with me that's relevant. When you want to send a promotion about hunting, send it to John Doe, who has raised his hand and has said by clicking or by answering a survey question that you've put with your email newsletter or online, I like hunting. It's easy to do productively with technology. It's easy to do. Here's a great example. The St. Louis Zoo. People sign up for the St. Louis Zoo newsletter for all sorts of reasons. They want information about what's happening at the zoo, visiting, so on and so forth. Some people are more engaged and more interested in supporting the activities, the conservation efforts, and so forth of the zoo. And so in a newsletter that talks about, hey, here, this is a newsletter that goes to visitors. We have extended hours coming up. We just got a new exhibit, all this sort of stuff. Hey, we have this thing called the animal wish list. This doesn't say, please donate. What it does is just says, check it out. Check out the animal wish list. And what they're able to do is track those people who showed interest in the wish list and then follow up with those people. The follow-up may have been a phone call from a development officer to the person whose email they also have. It may have been a follow-up email. But what they're doing here is providing interesting content and value. Check this out. But in so doing, figuring out who's interested in what. So that when it's time to call, when it's time to knock on the door, when it's time to send a follow-up email, you are the welcome guest and not the unwanted pest. We went to a trade show recently. How many of you have had the experience of coming back from the trade show with a stack of cards and just dreading what next? Right? Here's our practice at the trade show. What we do is we take the cards and we send everybody a thank you email. And we note in that email, hey, this is a one-time email, unless you gave us explicit permission that we're going to put you on the mailing list. If you gave us explicit permission, you're going to get more emails. But otherwise, it's just, thanks, pleased to meet you. But in that email, we use some of the personalization features of MarketVolt's email system. And we say to the people, hey, we did some really cool personalization things. And if you're thinking about how to personalize content in email, click here and we'll take you to a page. Then what we've said is, hey, reps, as you figure out who to call next, start with the people who click through. They're interested in what it is we do. Separating prospects from suspects. Quick exercise for later on the breaks. List 3 ways that in your marketing you can figure out who are your true prospects for a product or service that you sell. Do that before you go home. If you have that in mind, the next step is that you're going to be having lower resistant, more productive conversations. My contact information, I'll be here for the next several minutes, or a couple of hours, and I would be happy to hear from anybody who has further questions, comments, suggestions, complaints, whatever you want to say, I'm happy to hear from you. All right.